So I'm going to take out the cup holders here. And there's two 8mm down here. Pry this pocket out. Pry this up. There's another 8mm here. And down here. And this should pop out. Another 2/8 here. And that should pop out as well. And there's two number 2s here. And this piece should pop down. And there'll be another 2 up here. Next, the dash should pop out. There'll be 3 plugs you need to get loose. So this piece is already here because we modified the dash for a kit we're doing. But other than that, that will come off normally with the other piece. Now there's 3 screws on each side you take loose. Plug on the back of the radio, 2 of them, and then your antenna adapter. And that'll be it.
Now we're going to run the OBD2 line from under the dash into the radio opening. If you have something like this, you can stick it down through the dash into the floorboard. You just need to find an opening to get it down there. A little piece of tape. Hook the end of the wire. Pull it up through. After you have everything secured, make sure you zip tie that up and it's nowhere near the steering column or steering shaft. On this harness, you'll see these 2 plugs. How you know what to do with those 2 plugs is by looking at this harness. If you see 8 wires populated where the speaker wires go in, then you're non-amplified. You can just plug it straight in. Otherwise, if you are amplified, you need to switch these 2 plugs, which is just simply unplugging and plugging back in the other way. We are dealing with a non-amplified vehicle, so we will leave them as they were. Previous line from the OBD2 plugs in right there. Plug these 2 plugs in.
We're going to take these 3 screws out. Take these 4 screws out. Remove this ribbon cable. Flip this bar up. Take off the Bluetooth antenna, pulling straight out. Remove these 4 screws on each side. Remove this front face off. back side of the chassis, there's 2 screws. Take these out. Slide the chassis forward and out. We're going to disassemble this all the way down. Okay. Now we're going to take these screws out. Remove the antenna. Don't need that anymore. And we'll remove those 2 screws. All right, now with the kit, we're going to install the side brackets. Come with the kit. Look at this. One of the ear on it goes on the side of the ribbon cables. The other one goes on the other side. We'll set it up. Line it up the holes. Okay, once we have that on, we can put a ribbon cable in. Comes with the kit. Blue part goes up. Make sure it's fully seated. You click down, make sure this blue line is straight across it. If it's crooked, you have to reseat it again, but that's in there properly. Okay, the antenna goes in this hole here. The antenna up, back to where it was taken off. Take your time, make sure you get it lined up properly. Now we can put our heatsink back on. Okay, now we're gonna put the cover back on. Okay, now we have the radio in the front. We install our piece that comes with the kit. Put the 4 1/2-inch screws that come with the kit. All right, first step is going to be to cut this bar out here. We've already done that, just quicken the video up. All right, so now we're ready to modify the chassis. We're going to take out these 2 screws here. Just pop this panel up, put that to the side. All right, within the kit, you're going to get a piece of plastic like looks like this. It usually ships like that. Slide the cover off. Take a ribbon cable that you just took off from the control module, slide it in, indentation goes up, slide it like that until it locks. And we're gonna place this on here, slide it on. We're gonna take the 2 screws we took the cover off with and put them back in. Get one side started than the other. Now we're gonna get ready to install the bezel. So we gotta take these 4 screws out here. We're gonna loosen these 3 screws up here. We're gonna move this carrier all the way down. We're gonna move this one up 1 position. So from where it's at to 1 position higher. Okay, so we're gonna slide this up 1 position. So there's 1 hole below it. It's the correct spot. Indicate yourself, you're going to get 2 of these. And 4 machine screws. The 2 of these are going to have a left and R on them. The left and R is if you're looking at the radio itself. So if you're looking at the radio itself, this would be the right, this would be the left. So, and then they go with the names, the L's and the R's facing straight down like that. Of the 4 original screws we took out, we're only going to use 2 of those. Those go in the remaining bottom holes. now we're ready to assemble the actual dash piece. So open your plastic up. Within the kit, you're going to get a screen bezel that looks like this. So this is the bottom. Take your radio mounting bezel from the truck, set it down. All right, within the kit, this is the piece of plastic that goes in the back. It has an indentation on it that goes down. The two holes go towards the top of the kit itself. You'll see these line up with the holes here. Make sure you push it all the way down until it seats properly. We're going to line up our holes to the bottom. You'll have 4 3/4 inch screws in the kit itself. I recommend doing this with a hand screwdriver. Just snug them up. They don't need to be overly tight. Just get it so they're tight. And now we're ready to go to the inside of the car, finish the install. All right, now we're ready to install the brain module. But first things first, we install the backup camera on this truck. So we need to hook up on the pigtail from your radio harness. You're going to have a red power cord. It's going to go to the red power cord here. Make sure you ground the other wire in the back of the truck for the backup camera on a solid chassis ground. We're going to prep backup camera harness that goes in the back of the radio. It's in your 9500 or 8500 box. Go ahead and plug it into the rear camera input. I always recommend taping these because sometimes they fall apart. Now we're ready to plug in the control brain that we assembled earlier. First thing, we're going to plug in our radio harness. We can plug in our Maestro 4-pin connector. Plug in our Maestro 3.5 millimeter connector, our backup camera harness, our GPS antenna, our radio connection, microphone goes in the red port, our USB-C, and if you bought a satellite tuner from us, it'll plug into here, but in this car we're not using it, and the blue port will always remain open. All right. So now we're ready to clean the wires up a little bit. All right, so there's lots of room in the radio cavity. You don't have to go crazy cleaning it up. It's not gonna hurt anything. Slide it back in here. Your 4 Phillips screws back in. All right, ready to finish up the install. Then the kit itself, you're going to have a ribbon cable connector board. You're going to flip these wings up on both sides. Slide the ribbon cable in, fully seat it, make sure it's in there all the way. You lock the bar down, make sure this blue line on the top of it is completely straight. It's not one side's out further than the other. It's very important. If you have a friend to help you with this next step, it's helpful because it's a lot going on, a lot to hold on to. So, same thing, make sure it's fully seated. Lock it down, make sure the black line's straight across it. It is. There'll be a protector board cover in here in the kit itself. There's a part where it locks in and there's a ramp on the other side. So make sure you put the locking part in first and then you click the ramp on next. So I'm gonna have him hold it up for me while I plug in the rest of the plugs. All right, so it's gonna be hard to see what we're doing here. Make sure you put the ribbon cable in the pocket underneath the chassis itself. Try to do it neatly. It's gonna wanna pop out of there, but we'll slide it around the gear shifter. Line it up and go and snap it back in the dash. All right, so now we're gonna test out the screen. I'm gonna take the cover off of it. You can do all your setups here if you want, your date and time. We're just gonna go past it real quick to make sure everything's working. Make sure we got audio. We do. Make sure the backup camera works. If you don't have a backup camera, obviously it's not going to work. It works. We're also going to check our Maestro settings. They are reading. So we know, showing the doors are open, so we know the can's communicating properly. So now we can finish putting it back together. So pretty much reverse procedure of taking it apart. Got 2 screws that go up in the cavities. This piece goes in next. Slides up and locks in. Next piece is this one. 2 8mm on bottom. Right, now we're ready for the bottom piece. Flip the shift loop over the head. Feed it through the hole. Right, slide it down position. Put our screws back in. Screws already in there, so we'll tighten it up. Front part first, then the back. Pocket. Pocket. That's all there is to it. Prolific audio.